Welcome to the Bromley Adult Education College Digital Drop-In Podcast, getting you back to work with confidence.
Hello, I'm Jill Collier and welcome to episode 17 of the Digital Drop-In Podcast. Today I'm joined by Cathleen Dixon, and Kathleen's got some information, or some interesting information about being a publican. Again, I've certainly been into a pub and I know what happens as as a customer, but I don't know too much about behind the scenes. So I'm hoping Kathleen can give us an insight to this. So, hello Kathleen.
Hello Jill.
So tell me, Kathleen, what got you into, what made you want to become a publican?
I lived in a pub as a child from the age of 12, right. So I knew the running of it. And then when I got married and I had 2 children myself, we lived, I wasn't working at the time and I didn't particularly like being at home. My husband was working, but by the time he'd come home from work, I'd have the 2 kids in bed because they'd tire me out. So my parents had a pub, so I used to go there a lot. And before long, we were doing it a lot more. And then we decided to go into it ourselves.
How lovely. And was it an easy route to get into becoming a publican because your parents had a pub, or do you have to, I just don't quite know how it works. Do you go to a particular, don't know if they call them houses, a particular Young's or a particular type of pub and work your way in that way, or was it because your parents had a pub, they could recommend you? How did it work for you?
No, we had to do the interviews and then we were on relief for some time.
Relief, right, that's the word I was struggling for, yes.
You go on relief and it's a good thing in one sense because you go into pubs and it gives you an idea of what you do want and what you don't want and how they run it, and you get ideas from things like that, which is really good.
So if we rewind, so if I was maybe thinking of wanting to work or be a publican, would you recommend somebody actually went and worked in a pub at the ground level as a bar staff?
Definitely, definitely. I think that's, where most of them do start.
Yes.
Because, you can start as a bar person and work your way up to being manager. I mean, and some of the area managers that we had started off as publicans, so it's it's a trade that you can
I think it
grow
makes
into.
sense. Yes, I mean if you want, I think a lot of the time if you look at a supermarket for an example, people start working there and then they think, I like retail, let's see what this particular company can offer me in progression, really, and that's really what this is, isn't it? It's you might start as bar staff and then look to think, well, I like this, I can manage my own pub.
That's right.
So yes, from the relief, and can you just stay a relief manager if you want and just keep going round?
Yes, you can. And in actual fact, when my parents first sort of came out of the pub area, they did a couple of reliefs, like helping people out, friends of theirs and things like that. So it is, but it's a long day.
Yes.
A long day.
I guess thinking of a relief manager, you've got the benefit that, a bit like being a relief teacher, you don't have so much of the paperwork and things to do because you're just in for a couple of weeks, but equally you wouldn't then have the delights of staying anywhere very long. You'd constantly be on the move, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's the only down with it. It's obviously you're living out of a suitcase.
Yes.
But
so getting on to actually being a publican, as you say, the hours are very long, aren't they? What now it's all day opening, what are the hours? What time they start?
They are from 11 o'clock in the morning till 12 o'clock, sometimes even later than that.
Oh, at night?
At night, yeah. So it's all day.
Yes, so that's sort of like an 11 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, and
it's 13 hours.
Yeah, that's right. And not only that, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, you've got things to do before you actually open.
Of course, yes, you've got to...
You've got to get your change, you've got to do, the place has got to be clean, you've got to sort out rotas, staff rotas.
Yes.
It's a lot of, it's organising yourself.
I suppose almost like a shop that now, they're often open from 6 in the morning till 12 at night. I guess you have different shifts of people maybe, and if there's a husband and wife, maybe one manages for half the time and the second manages for the second half or something. Can you sort of break it down a bit so that you're not working from 11 in the morning?
Oh yes, definitely. I mean, we always worked it that one of us had the children and then one of us was running the business.
Yes,
and it worked very well.
So what would you say are some of the pluses of being a publican?
You've got not so much nightlife, but you've got interesting people coming in.
Yes.
You've got regulars. There's lots of different things that are good about it.
So the regulars,
meeting people.
I mean, I can only ever think back to Syria. I've never been a regular anywhere, I'm afraid, though I don't know it from personal experience. But in programmes and things, you sometimes see maybe some of the elderly community almost using it as their social life or somewhere to go. Did you find you had quite a lot of elderly regulars, for example, or?
Well, yes, and families,
right.
Grandparents, parents. And it all depends on how long you stayed in the
Yes.
in the pub itself. You see generations going through.
Wow, yeah, that does make sense. Yes. And so you've got your community spirit there. What is some of the, is there anything else so you're going to meet new people a lot of the time, you've got a community spirit. What about salary, for example? Do you find, would you say what you get paid as being a publican? What are the benefits? Because I guess you're employed by somebody if you're a manager?
Yes, if you're managing, you're employed by a company, and then there are different benefits, like we actually had private healthcare. There was the fact that you live above the pub.
Right.
So what salary you get, I wouldn't know sort of like exactly now what it is, but it's changed so much, everything's changed. But yes, we were on a good salary, and you get bonuses and
oh, lovely.
Yeah, so the better that your pub, the more money your pub earned, obviously the more
it was related to the bonus that you got. Yes, absolutely. So in a pub, you've got to think of the clearing up, the setting up. You've got to think presumably of ordering. Is it quite a quick turnaround? If you run out of something, you can order again quite quickly with the drinks and things?
Oh, yeah, you have everything. Everything is there, you order on a Monday, it's delivered on a Wednesday,
right.
Whatever, food, drink, whatever you need.
So food, that's what I was going to come on to. So is the food also supplied by the same company as the drink then?
No, it's a different company,
right.
But it's who they recommend, and most of them are really good. And
does the food come pre-prepared, or do you cook it on site, or how does that work?
It was originally, my mum always did her own cooking, but through the years they wanted their pubs to be more and more like you could go to one consistent. So then it was we bought from Booker's and Break Bros and things like that.
Right, okay, so yes, people want to think that if they go into a particular type of pub, they know the menu, they know it before they walk in the door.
Exactly.
Really. Right, oh okay, so the days of Betty's Hot Pot have gone, have
Oh
they?
yes, I think so.
Right, okay, so the food comes in. So I guess that's a saving of a salary really, because you don't have to employ kind of a qualified cook.
Oh no, I mean some houses have chefs and that, but it all depends on I mean the more food that you sold, the better clientele you got, I think.
That's
definitely.
So interesting, yes. So if you found you were producing good food, it brought in slightly different clientele that were prepared to maybe pay for a decent meal. It's interesting you say that, because I've got a feeling, and I could be wrong and you might not know the answer to this, but I've got a feeling now that in some of these pubs where it's almost like a restaurant really, I've got a feeling it's the food that makes more money than the drink. But I guess it's the fact that if you're producing a high quality meal, for a family of 4 plus their drinking, it can be quite a good revenue coming in for that one table.
Definitely.
So it's hopefully a very busy pub. So what are some of the minuses of being a manager of a pub? So you've got all the pluses, it's your own business, presumably you can employ the staff that you like or somebody you feel you can get on with. Do you have that?
Yes,
you employ your own staff.
Yeah.
So you're running effectively your own business, but it's just being managed because you have signed up to a particular house. So what are the minuses of running your own business? Can you think of anything that was challenging? I mean, being responsible for all those staff, for example.
Well, your staff. That's the only problem with staff, especially if you work with part-time staff. You know, they can let you down, which means if somebody let you down, then you'd have to be behind the bar. Yeah. Whereas, and most of the time, you did a stink behind the bar every day,
yes.
Or in the kitchen, whatever.
Yes. So, I think staff are always a bit of a loose cannon, aren't they? Which is why it's so important to employ good, reliable people.
Yeah.
Because if they're good, they can make your business. If they're bad...
Exactly. And training them, of course.
And they don't show up, or worse, maybe they can be rude. I mean, we all have days when we're not perfect, but, if they can be rude to staff, that could... to clients, that wouldn't be ideal either, I guess, would it?
I think I was pretty lucky, actually, because a couple of the girls actually moved with me when I moved. So,
I think that says more about you, though. I think that means that that you were a nice person or a decent person, fair person.
Yeah, to work. I suppose so. But yeah, it's your staff make the place,
Yes.
And I was always taught if you treat your staff well, then they'll look after you.
Yes.
And
I think treat your staff as you would like to be treated.
Exactly.
I think we've always been both ends of that, haven't we? And yes, you want to feel that you are being treated with respect, and if you're cared for, as you say, you will care for the business, won't you? Did you find any of your better staff, did they go on and maybe want to become publicans themselves, or they were just happy? No,
they were quite happy. One girl did, actually. She went on and she ended up getting a pub in Brighton.
Wow. This is my ignorance, is it almost like a lease where they say you'll be there 3 years, or can you be there as many years as you want, or how does it work when you say you've had several pubs? What would have made you move on from one pub to another? Would it be area, size of the pub? What would make you want to?
A lot of things, really. It could be the pub itself, promotion, something better coming along, new challenge.
So promotion would be going to a bigger pub.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, that does make sense. So a bigger pub would,
with a bigger turnover,
yes. Yes. And I mean, I guess area, maybe if you have got young children growing up, you might want to move to a different area that might, or not that far, but put you in maybe a better catchment area for a different secondary school.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to move. But lucky enough, we were in the same sort of vicinity.
Yes,
so it didn't.
Well.
Yeah.
So do you think it's conducive to bringing a family up? Did you find the fact that you are your own bosses? I mean, I guess the more staff you employ, the more it cuts into your profit, the less salary you're going to get, I'm assuming. But did you find you could work it quite well then when you had a family to...
Yes, definitely. I mean, to give you an example, somebody actually said to my husband one night about, you're open all day, blah, blah, but, open all day. And he said, well, yeah, but I picked them up from school. We've had our meal. Yes. And they're upstairs.
Yes.
And where are you? He's in the pub.
Yes.
So.
Yes, that's very true. By pure coincidence, my parents owned a shop for the very same reason, that they both wanted to be there when we went to school and when we came home. And again, the holidays and all the rest. I mean, obviously, again, we'd want them in with us when they'd be in the shop, but my parents were both present throughout the whole of my childhood, and it's a nice option. I guess things are changing a bit now, because sometimes parents, or not sometimes, a lot of parents are working from home, but there's been a hiatus for as many years as I can remember where dads might go to work before the children got up, and they come home
exactly
when the children are in bed. So yes, I can see that now, that actually living in a pub would actually give them the luxury of having you both there, which is lovely, isn't it? So it's long hours, but at the end of the day, so long as you work well, you are your own boss, aren't you?
Yep.
And I guess that's recognised again, sort of up the path, as it were, so that they do give you opportunities for better pubs, and so that you could kind of move on and progress.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting, Kathleen. It's something I knew so little about. So would you, for anybody that's listening to this that would think, actually, I think I could do that, you would just recommend they just look for a job in a pub, or if they've already had a job in a pub, then maybe inquire from their manager as to where they go to
what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, it's once you've got a foot on the ladder, I think, and if you enjoy it, then it's, you know, it's all systems go.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Kathleen. That's really been interesting. So I'm sure our listeners will look forward to hearing all about that. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
For help with all your job searching needs, do visit one of our digital drop-in venues. On a Monday, we are open 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at our Poveris Centre, and on a Tuesday, we are open 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our Kentwood Centre. In our sessions, we offer free use of computers for job searching, advice on creating a winning CV, plus lots of short training courses to gain skills in the digital world.
This podcast has been produced by Bromley Adult Education College. For full details of how we can support your return to work, visit our website www.baec.ac.uk and search for Digital Drop-In. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to receive notifications of new episodes.